That's what I'll do. Okay, here we go. All right. So we are recording now. Today's the 11th of January, and this is for the Bournemouth University workshop on the 29th of February. And we've got a document here that Louise and I are going to review. Mike was with us earlier, and Steve said he won't be able to make. Okay, oh, hold on. Mike is here now on the phone. Hold on a second. Yep, Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. You've got the message.
No. Oh, that okay. But I did email you the document.
Yes,
Okay.
I've got the document.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of go through the document. Can you hear Mike, Louise?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, great. So we're recording now, and we'll just go through the document and discuss a little bit about the logistics. It's not life or death today about looking at the first topic or the first draft of people, but because it's more about just kind of getting our heads around how we want to integrate these topics into a kind of narrative or into a kind of circle discussion, and then bring in that AI element to the workshop. So if everybody's got that document open that says on the top BU conference workshop Thursday the 29th, I'm sharing the screen with Louise, so I know she can see it. And Mike, if you've got it open locally, then we'll just talk. We'll just talk through that.
That's fine.
Okay, great. So we're recording this meeting. What I will do is I will put the recording file of this into my Google Drive a link, which is on that document, into the folder. But Mike, if you're having trouble accessing that folder, let me know, and we'll put it someplace else, like YouTube or something, that you can see it. Now, the first part is to think about the format of the workshop a little bit, and then we'll go into looking at the topic one and how we want to kind of play with that. This is all open for interpretation. We'll pass this on to David as well. What we're kind of hoping here is a kind of general idea of the flow of the workshop, because we've got quite a bit of time, 2:45 until 4:15. So that does give us some kind of play and wiggle room. The first point will be that I'm going to physically be in a room, which we've got to nail down and secure with the Bournemouth University facilities. But I will be there physically as the host, and in the room we'll have 3 screens set up, which will be aimed at being individual screens for each of the presenters that will be avatars. So one of the things that we'll need you to do, guys, would be to get a photo that David can convert into a like a 3-dimensional moving talking representation of yourself. The second thing,
can I use my zombie photo?
can you use a zombie photo?
Probably
not. I guess I don't want to stop your creativity, but I think part of it is that we're trying to come across of the avatar as being as realistic of the person, because if any of you can be there in person, and by the way, if it makes it any easier, any of you are welcome to stay at our house here the day of the event. You know, if you want to stay over the night before. Louise, you're in Southampton, right?
Well, I'm just north of Salisbury.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not such a great distance, but Mike, if you wanted to come by and stay over, you know, you're welcome to do that. Steve is local. He's in Westbourne. David might want to come down in person, you know, so he could stay. We've got an extra little flat on the back garden that we just finished, and we've got a couple rooms that are available as well. But so the idea is that to answer your question, Louise, it might be better to have a more realistic image of yourself. Even if it's like whatever 10 years younger or whatever 10 years older or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But you know, so that people are looking at your avatar and thinking that this is like your digital twin.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So have a think about it. You know, we don't want to
Yep.
restrict your creativity though. But so I would be there in the room, if in physical person with, you know, your avatars up on the screen, and if you could physically be available, that's great. If not, when the conference presentation part is finished and we're doing questions and answers, we can switch to a video conference, you know, a Teams chat or something like that as well. But the first part would be me giving some context about the workshop. So, you know, what we're doing is we're looking at the conference theme, digitally transform education. Are we there yet? Okay. So however you interpret that very general and very vague remit is what your three kind of topics will be aimed at. Because we're doing this kind of as three separate, it's not that we're all telling the same story, but maybe different perspectives, different angles, different technologies, you know, different points of importance. All right. And so I'll start off by saying the aims and the objectives of the workshop, which is to do a new version of the Turing test. So we're going to be having the presenters in their virtual format bring up different ideas and topics, you know, to stimulate the conversation, the workshop. And we're going to have a red herring in each of the themes. So one of the themes will be to generated by an AI. All right, so that you know, David will, we have to work out the logistics of what the prompts are and which AI tool he's using. But basically, he would take your text that you're going to write out as a script, and then feed that into the AI and say, AI agent, give us your interpretation of this issue. All right, and it will rewrite it in its fashion. And so when we do the workshop, we'll say to everybody, all right, now we're going to have each of the three presenters go through and bring up their key points for topic one. One of these is going to be not a human, but an AI generated text. But what we'll do is we'll have that text spoken through your avatar. Okay, so they will be seeing your avatar and trying to determine, is that text from you as a human, or is that text from the AI generator interpreting what you've said. We'll have an online voting tool where they will then be able to say which one, 2, or 3 is the AI. And then when we finish, when we've got all of the statistics, you know, like, so for example, if in topic number 1, 80% of the people say that Mike was the AI agent, we will then be able to look at it and see what David did, and see, is Mike's actually human, or is Mike actually the AI generated? And then we're going to collect all that data so that we have that as a research topic and paper to come out of the workshop. So, so it's a workshop, but it's also a research case study, which means that, we're going to have to get ethical permission from everybody, for voting and recording their conversations and everything. All right. So does that make sense so far? What do you think, Louise?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really good. Nice bit of gamification added there.
Okay. All right. And Mike, how about you? Is this following kind of the theme?
Obviously, all these to do on that, but I'm happy with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Great. So basically then, once topic 1 is done, then I'll jump in as the host, the presenter, and say thank you, presenters, for that. We're now going to go to round 2 for the next topic, the next issue. Steve is still working on his topics. I've put in that document, I think, a draft text of what he's got. Mike, I know you've been working pretty hard on your 3 topics. Sadly, I didn't get a chance to grab yours to put in this document, but we can add that into this. So we have a single document that has all 3 topics, so that we can all take a look at what each other's kind of positions are. And then we'll have topic 2 go through, people vote, and then topic 3 go through, people vote. And then we'll open it up for open discussion, Q&A. And that's the point where then we would say, okay, avatars, thank you very much. We're going to turn you off now. And here are the real presenters. Here are the live presenters. Are there any questions? Now, we haven't really thought about this part yet, but I'm hoping we can promote the event and get some interest and get a pretty good number. If we have a dozen or so people, I think that would stimulate a pretty good Q&A. But what we might want to think about as well is to open up the event online, so that any of our colleagues or any of people from another university that you think might be interested, they could also participate. All right. Now, I haven't cleared that with the conference people, because they may say, well, wait a minute, people are paying to come to the conference. How come they can do this for free? So we'll see what we can do on that. But what I would love to be able to do is to have like a Teams link that people could come in, see the whole thing online, and then additionally to the face-to-face Q&A, have an online Q&A. So what do you guys think about that? Is that making it too complicated, or do you think that it's okay?
No, I think
that's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Sure whether I'll be able to turn up, Skip, various things. I mean, I'm not getting paid for this. So
no,
anyway.
that I know, Mike. I know. That's why I'm saying, I wouldn't want you to incur expense for accommodation or whatever. You're more than welcome to stay here for free. I mean, we could check and see. Bournemouth University is a lot better off than Solent. Solent University, if we were doing this, Louise, would say no, forget it. Guest speaker, we can't even pay for parking for the guest speakers. But I think Bournemouth might cover your train or your petrol or something. So if that's more of an incentive, because it'd be great to have you in person, but just something to think about.
Yeah.
Does that make sense though, Louise, about the online bit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's a bit of another kind of red herring, and that is, if we did that and asked the AI agent for a question, we could get the artificial intelligence to put in a question for the discussion group.
Mm.
and not necessarily tell people that is, you know, because they are just going to see an online text. You know, we could get someone to ask the AI a question, you know, to say, can you ask a question about this? And then have them plug, you know, put that in to see if anyone notices that that's an AI kind of text prompt. So that's something that we may want to think about. I may be making it overly complicated. I don't know, but I'm just thinking if what, you know, the worst fear is, you know, where will this go wrong is we do the presentation and then nobody asks any questions. So you know, it's good to have a like a plant, you know, some seeded questions, either from a real human that, you know, just ask the questions for us, or, you know, maybe play with the AI agent. So have a think about that. If you think that's not really adding value, then we won't bother with it. We'll just get a couple questions, you know, that we'll prepare, you know, for our topics.
That's it. Reminds me of an advert that came up on YouTube, and I didn't realize what it was, but it was
Can you hear? Oh, sorry, Mike. Can you hear Louise?
Yeah, no, I can't.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second, Louise. I'm
right.
gonna.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm switching to the other speaker now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Louise.
So it just reminded me, because, you know.
Oh, hold on a second. Now it's not catching
Oh.
the audio. 1 second.
Talk to me. I'm getting the gist of everything.
Oh, okay, but let me just have a quick look here. Speakers. Okay, hold on a second, because then
Okay.
if we can you hear us now, Louise?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm just making it so that Mike can hear as well, because I could hear you before, but I was on the headphones, and so I
Okay.
didn't get your comment. Go ahead.
Sure. Okay. So on YouTube there's this advert, and I didn't realize what it was because I was just listening to it. And because YouTube just puts adverts in between, you know, when you listen to music. And this advert came on, and there was just these two people talking, and they were really annoying me. So I went over to turn it off, and it wasn't two people talking. It was Alexa talking to another speaking device, and they were
Oh,
having a conversation with each other. So that's just reminded me of that. I mean, you know, perhaps we could kind of put another red herring in and have AI ask a question and then AI answer the question, and, you know, just have a little twist on that to see what
yeah.
outcome there is.
Okay, that's that. Yeah, see, there's all kinds of iterations, you know, like loops within loops, you know, like in coding terms, you know, like a nested loop, you know,
Yeah.
having
Yes.
one thing inside another thing. So let's have a little think about that, because boy, there's all kinds of ways we could screw up the audience's brain with
Exactly. But yeah,
you know,
definitely.
all right, I like it. I like it. Okay. So that's where we want to kind of go with the first part. And then I don't know how long that's going to take. Again, it depends on the Q&A. I'd love to be able to have the Q&A do most of the time. But then the other part of it would be if David would either do a demo or give us access to license for his software to generate an avatar. When he did a workshop for me, not a workshop, excuse me, a guest talk, at the end of the guest talk, he went online to LinkedIn to one of the students' pictures, just their icon picture, and converted it into an avatar, you know, a moving, speaking, three-dimensional kind of avatar, changed the clothes from a business suit into a doctor's clothes,
Yeah.
and took some text that he copied about the research method and had that student give a you know, a one-paragraph lecture
Yeah.
about that, which just blew everyone's mind, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of a fun kind of, another way to get the audience involved a little bit.
Yeah, and just show how simple and easy it can be, because AI has just moved so quickly. It's ridiculous. We just can't keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So,
Yeah.
Mike, do you want to just say real quickly what your first topic is, and we'll finish off the last couple 5-10 minutes here about
Oh, right.
themes.
Yeah, I mean, my topic is that learning how to write is much more effective than Chat GPT.
Okay.
And what I'm doing is I'm giving 3 examples of 3 simple tricks that writers use professionally to correct, to write clearly and easily.
Nice. So whereas some of the other talks might have a, okay, so, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
So I'm saying that learning how to write, to speak in your head, it's a bit complicated. I won't. I can just read it out, but I mean, my ideas are basically that a person learning how to speak and write properly is much better than Chat GPT.
Yeah. No, I think, and this is good, because what we don't want to have is a topic, where everybody is agreeing on exactly the same thing. We're all just like patting each other on the back and saying, oh, aren't we all just wonderful? So where we're putting forward, where's this digital transformation education going? You're rooting us in the fundamentals that no matter what, we still need to learn how to write.
I'm going to think about this. What I'm actually doing is in the doing of it, i.e. here at the moment, I'm trying to tell you what I'm doing. But if I read out the introduction now, which I'm going to do, okay, the doing of it is part of the, if you like, the upstaging Chat GPT. Okay, I'm just going to read it very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have 3 writer's tricks for you, more useful than any AI writing software. I observe students spend their education listening to the spoken words in their head and trying to turn those spoken sentences into written English in their essays. I say to a student, that sentence is difficult to understand. And the student replies, what I meant to say is. Then they change the word around, read out aloud, make some edits, and suddenly understand the way their brain is working. I think it's much more important to understand how we use the spoken and written English and move between the 2 styles.
Okay, that's really rich. That's powerful, and I think that's really going to complement some of the stuff that Steve is now posted to us, because he has 3 issues that he wants to touch on. One is the morality of knowledge. Okay, so he's not looking at the technology too hard either. He's taking like what you're, talking about. Somebody's written something, and okay, what's the morality? How are we looking at it from that moral standpoint with the issue of the technology, and then whether that information that we're getting is fake or we can trust it, and then how that might steer into his third topic about the crime of learning. Okay, so I can see some like interconnection with the themes that you're going with, Mike. What do you think, Louise? Is there something that's jumping at you now, looking at all these other issues?
Yeah, the only thing that is jumping out at me is the way that students are behaving anyway, and like they because they spend so much time on social media, they don't have time to get bored. And
Ooh.
this is why they find it really difficult. This is why they've got such a short-term memory, because everything is just so saturated. They're just getting a lot of information, but they're not kind of thinking about it. So I mean, is AI a tool that they could use to help them get better with their focus, their concentration, their learning, perhaps?
Okay. Sorry, Louise. This is why I didn't want to use Zoom. But I'm getting a warning that we're about out of time. So I'm guessing within the next 5 minutes or
10
so,
minutes, yeah.
we're gonna drop you out. But I
Okay.
like what you're going with that, because again, what we're doing is we're focusing on the human side of the question, not just doing a tech talk.
Yeah.
And although we're using the tech in the workshop. So I think that you know, this is a nice model that we're looking at to be able to say, all right, here are some of the issues. Here are some of the technology that we are playing with. And then, you know, how can we come up with a blend? How can we come up with a recipe that's going to take us forward and promote, like you're saying, you know,
Yeah.
this thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. To just enhance it, just to help them, use
Mm.
the AI to inspire them to understand the topic. Because it cuts down the research time in half. Well,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
it's
yeah.
dead easy to get information but from ChatGPT or Bard and the like. And by using the AI tool, could it be a better method for them to use to help them to understand the topic and write better?
Yeah, absolutely. See, this is tying in with Mike's thing a bit as well. All right, what because I'm paranoid here now about Zoom. What I'm going to do is if you guys don't mind, I'm going to stop the recording. If I can pause share, stop sharing, and where does the recording stop recording? I'm stopping the recording now. Then.